You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters. Well, we got a couple things in one video here today. We're going to talk about Caitlin Clark's newly released Wilson basketballs that are badass, as you might expect. Some more unique designs that'll probably be sold out at record speed. And we found an article, an SI article, peeling back the curtain on one of the biggest obstacles for the Indiana Fever right now. And considering that Stephanie White is supposed to be this defensive guru, it's troubling. All right. And it has to do with defense in the paint, of which, particularly against A'ja Wilson and the Aces in the second half, there was none. There was none. They ran amok in the paint all over the Indiana Fever. Now, look, if DeWanna Bonner wants to show up and play basketball, that 6'4" situation in the middle of the paint would be good to possibly thwart what was just a real drubbing in the second half by the Las Vegas Aces. We all know Caitlin Clark is in her second year in the WNBA. She's already changed the landscape of women's basketball, women's sports. Let's keep it real. Now, Caitlin Clark's signature line of Wilson basketballs is here with 4 new additions. The line originally released the first editions of her custom basketball in September 2024. Clark and Michael Jordan are the only athletes with full basketball collections from Wilson. Think about that a minute. We keep trying to tell folks, but, hey, keep on. Yeah, me bounds too. As for her 2025 season, Clark is averaging nearly 20 points per game this season, 5.4 rebounds, 8.9 assists. By the way, she is up in every category except she is down a little bit. And I was just looking at this. She's down a little bit on total rebounds. Her field goal percentage is down too. So that's the 2 areas that she's struggling right now. This is the new balls. Evo NXT Embrace. NXT, is this the WWE? Which is that ball right there, right here. That's a cool ball. The WNBA Oasis, which is that ball. The Envision, which is a ball I may end up ordering because I like that gray with the red. I like it. I like it a lot. And then this Wilson, this is basically same design, only with blue. The Aspire. Or actually, this is the Envision. They got these backward. Okay, the Envision is the blue one, and the Aspire is the red one. So, am I going colorblind? I feel like I am. By the way, I'm fixing to order this Fever one. Now that I think you can actually get it, because when all these came out, you could forget about it. You couldn't get shit. And I noticed this one right here, this Caitlin Clark Iowa jersey retirement. I was like, oh, that's cool. And then I looked down and saw sold out, and I thought, of course it is. Of course there's no chance of getting it. Jesus. So I thought that was pretty cool. I wanted to at least shine some light on it. She continues to dominate this whole thing. The league, the WNBA, continues to act like she doesn't. And, of course, they're willing to put her at harm's risk on the court. It's the weirdest thing I've ever even heard of in all these years I've been talking about sports. What the league does to Caitlin Clark is unlike anything I've ever seen and or heard of. So, it's been a rough past couple of games for the Indiana Fever. It's not simply 2 losses in consecutive fashion. Indiana has surrendered fourth quarter leads in back-to-back games, drawing the white-hot spotlight onto a struggling Caitlin Clark. They feel like a horrible fourth quarter team. I mean, seriously. I think they lost a game earlier in the year in the fourth quarter. Just gave it up. And that's when you really start feeling the identity or lack thereof of this basketball team. I'm like, what are they? They're supposed to be this. They got this defensive-minded coach, and she's supposed to be building this defensive culture, but it's not very good. It's not. And then we find out Caitlin Clark comes out and says, we're playing slow. We're having to play slow. I don't want to play slow. Good Lord. I mean, intentionally playing slow with Caitlin Clark is insane to me. While still averaging 15 points a game across the last two contests, no one can deny Clark doesn't quite look like herself. Typically prolific from deep, the Fever star is shooting 1 for 17 from beyond the arc and has turned the ball over 14 times to boot. Look, I know some people have brought up some sinus infection or cold or something. Look, I grew up with Michael Jordan being epic with the flu during the NBA Finals. So, that doesn't work for a professional basketball player. That, and I don't believe that's it. I said, is it time to speculate that she might have re-injured the quad that kept her out 5 games? She was struggling shooting threes right before we got the news that she was out. That was a thing, all right? Obviously, like I said yesterday, that's not going to show up driving to the basket or pulling up from 12 or 8 or 15, but it's going to show out when she pulls up from 30, from 28. When she pulls up from deep, the legs are involved. Maybe not. Maybe she's just struggling. And Lord knows, Stephanie White, especially in the fourth, is not gonna figure out a way to get Caitlin Clark the ball. That ball should live in her hand in the fourth quarter. To her credit, she's owned Indiana's late season woes, taking accountability for Sunday's defeat, and she's likely right to do so. As presently constituted, it would seem the Fever's success is incredibly dependent on Clark's performance. Well, we have found out one thing. This team's not nearly as good as we thought it was supposed to be with these acquisitions. Unfortunately, Indiana's problems do not start and end with Clark's shooting slump. Her dry spell may generate headlines, but there are other concerns, and this is a big one. Trouble in the paint. They're getting crushed in the paint. Since May 28th, the Fever have allowed the most points in the paint. 39.1, I guess, a game. Jesus. That's a 9-game span that coincides with Clark coming out of the lineup due to her left quad strain after playing the New York Liberty on May 24. For context, Indiana allowed just 30.1 points in the paint, a mark that ranked third best in the WNBA through the first 4 games prior to injury. So they are now giving up 9 more points a game in the paint. That's going to get them blasted. It's doubtful there's much correlation between the two, as Clark's return has done little to quell the issue. It's got nothing to do with Clark. It's got to do with what's going on close to the basket. The Fever ranked top 5 in opposing fast break points during this span, 10.8, meaning that nearly 75% of the damage is coming from half-court sets. This interior defense, or rather lack thereof, was on display Sunday against the Las Vegas Aces as the Fever led a 5-point halftime lead slip away. 28 of the Aces' 53 second-half points, 52.8%, came from inside the paint. On the season, Las Vegas only gets about 36% of their total scoring from inside, indicating a marked increase in success against the Fever. Wow. It's been a problem for the Aces, and they went out and got fed against the Fever. Yikes. In fact, Las Vegas's 28 points inside the paint during the second half are the most they've scored in any half all year. Jackie Young, Asia Wilson ate them up. Holy crap. So there's a problem. There's a problem on the inside. I'm sorry. Even when DeBonna Bonner is playing and Natasha Howard, I said yesterday they look old. I'm keeping it real. They look slow. Michaela Timpson, I don't understand why she can't come in the game. I don't get that. I don't understand why she has not been given some minutes leading up. This team feels like they are lacking energy. And guess what? The energy level, they start out real fast, first, second quarter, high energy. And then as the game weathers on, the oldness starts to look like you got players out there that are all running on bad knees. Or at least the older players are. Huh. Natasha Howard and DeWanna Bonner look like I said yesterday, they're running in molasses with peanut butter shoes on. It's slow. And hell, Bonner's not playing. So that's a problem. 9 games, that's beyond a trend. That's becoming who you are. A team that teams can get fat on and exploit inside the paint. That's a problem. And if this league was better at hitting layups, holy shit. The Fever might not win another game this year if they didn't correct it. Wow. Tell me what you think. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.